I want to scream, but I can't because it's 5 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning because I was having a bad dream. And I happened to hop on IG, and one of you had DM'd me that the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Palettes Holiday 2024 are available. And this is a big deal because actually, this is like the first time in a few years that the colors in these palettes have not been revealed or have not been leaked, to be honest. So right here on launch day is the first day that we are actually looking at the colors together. We've seen the palettes, but we didn't know what colors were in there. And we've seen the designs, but this is like the first nitty-gritty look into these palettes. If you're new here, these are my favorite launch of 2024. I love these powders so much. What makes these palettes special and this launch so special is Hourglass has a formula that cannot be replicated by any brand. They are an undupable formula, and the brand is very pricey. Individually, these items are crazy. So these 6 pan palettes, while $90, are still a good deal if you know the prices of the individual products. Not only that, but they're so good that they're worth the $90, if you ask me. So every year I buy every palette because off camera, these are what I'm using in my everyday life. I tend to travel with these formulas because they're so buttery, soft, and smooth. And this year, in each palette, 5 of the 6 new shades are new, which I can't tell you the last time Hourglass has launched these ambient lighting palettes with so many new shades in each palette. So if you're a collector like me, this is an exciting launch. And if I do say so myself, the art seems extra beautiful. So anyways, I'm like a kid in a candy store. That's why I'm filming this at 5 a.m. I was gonna go back to sleep, but I got so excited about ordering the palettes and these becoming available that I was like, well, might as well film. I haven't gotten this feeling since like 2010 Black Friday. This is my version of Christmas morning, okay? And that is why I am up at this hour. Let's take a look. And I kind of like quickly skimmed their website. The website is beautiful this year. Here we are. This is the website. I will have the link to shop down below as well as in the pinned comments. I personally don't have a discount code, but if you have one, make sure you comment it down below and then you can just type it in at checkout. There's normally 10% off codes floating around. So this year we have 3 new palettes. Unfortunately, you cannot mix and match the palettes and the colors that you get. You were able to customize last year what cover you wanted. Not this year. Last year there was also 4 artwork covers. This year there's only 3, and like I said, you can't swap around, which is a little bit disappointing. They did work with the same artist. I'll get into that, as they worked with last year, and I think she just creates the most beautiful designs. So up until this point, we had seen these 3, and honestly, it looks like one is made for light skin tones, medium skin tones, and then deeper skin tones. How deep we're talking, I don't know. One thing I will say when it comes to Hourglass powders, especially like when it comes to this one, they tend to look deeper in person. So I am hoping, I ordered it, that this will be deep skin tone appropriate, but it really is one of those things where we can't really tell until I get it in the palms of my hand and between my dirty little fingers here. So there's a ton of artwork going on here. So the website right here, you'll see 5% of net profits from these palettes support the non-human rights project in their effort to secure fundamental rights for animals. I mean, 5% is not a lot, but $90 a palette, it is going to add up. They do this every year for these palettes, which is just an added bonus. So you'll see at the top $90, and then these are 3 limited edition artworks and 5 new ambient lighting shades. That's going to be for each palette, and it does say all of these are limited edition, which they all are every year. there after they sell out. So then you get to pick which style palette you want. So there's 3 this year: the Dragon, which is this one, the Evil Eye palette, and the Lotus Flower palette. Now my eye is immediately drawn to the Lotus Flower palette. I think that artwork is so beautiful, but I do think that the Dragon palette artwork is kind of the coolest. Some details here. It tells you about going to the Non-Human Rights Project and everything we already know. And then also with each palette, we're going to look closely. Like this one is the Dragon, for example. It will tell you a little bit about the artwork and each of the new shades, which we are gonna get into. Also, I do want to show you something. If you order online, they're gonna give you an option where you can pay $5 for a gift box. It's 1 per person. I mean, not a lot. Like, it's kind of a lot of money. But anyways, I paid for the Dragon personally. Even though I love the Lotus Flower, I think the Dragon box looks the coolest. And the artist name is Katie Scott. There it is. I was looking for her name. So you can either get a gift box for $5 and I guess you can also get a gift bag, also $5. So there's the Dragon. I almost got a bag and then I was like, you're being ridiculous. At least a box is more sturdy. But Dragon, Evil Eye, or Lotus Flower. So the idea, right, that I would have, if you are buying this as a gift for Christmas, a bit early, but anyways, I'm not early like that. I'm like December 24th, I'm buying presents. But anyways, if you do buy this as a present, how beautiful to put the palettes in one of these bags. Anyways, so you do have gift wrap options that you can purchase. Now let's dive into the palettes. We'll start off with the Dragon palette, the lightest one, it looks like. Now there's a lot of beautiful photos on the website, and if you scroll down, I mean, they have photos that are moving. They did a stunning job with the website this year. And there also are a couple of brushes available as well. I missed this, I hadn't seen this, so this is news for me as well. So they have one with the Dragon handle and one with the Evil Eye handle. This brush is $52. You know what I will say? The Hourglass brushes, I'm not going to say they're worth it, but they're really, really, really good. Honestly, they're kind of worth it with how often I use them. They're super soft, very, very sturdy. This isn't one of the new ones, but I'm just saying. The Hourglass brushes are also beautiful. I get a lot of use out of mine. They're super sturdy. So let me go to the photos that I'm looking for. I love that they do this artwork because we can really get a good look. So this is the Dragon palette. The one shade that is a repeat here is the finishing powder in Dreamlight. So if you're a collector, you might already have this. Now, all of the finishing powders kind of work the same. How I like to use them is to kind of mesh all my makeup together. So one of the finishing powders that I have is Soft Light. So Dreamlight's going to be the lightest one available. But after I put on my bronzer, blush, and highlight, you know how sometimes it looks just not as cohesive and well blended? Doing this kind of blurs them all together and finishes off the makeup. It will blur your skin. It will blur all 3 colors, all the cheek colors that you have on your face. It's just that finishing touch. It's really subtle, but it truly makes the biggest difference. When I was a bridal artist, I always loved to finish off with an Hourglass finishing powder because it completes it. It's a super duper subtle glow, kind of blurs over everything. It is the most unique formula, to be honest, that Hourglass has. I don't mind the repeat because I love having a finishing powder in there. Now we do have 5 other new shades. So there's a peach blush, peach fusion, a divine light finishing powder. So this looks a little bit deeper. To be honest, I don't think we need 2 finishing powders in the same palette. They kind of serve the same purpose. I do sometimes like to use the finishing powder really concentrated for the most natural highlight. So that's when I could use something like Dreamlight, really, really concentrated. But 2 finishing powders in 1 palette, a little unnecessary, but it is what it is. It looks like Divine Light's a bit more yellow, a little bit deeper. We have a new blush in Mauve Haze. Now, the Hourglass blushes are one of my all-time, if not my all-time favorite powder blush formula. They just blend so seamlessly on the cheek. So what I'm liking about this is the 2 blushes are very, very different from one another. A clearly peach one with a lot of veining in there, and then a more smooth one, which is gonna have no veining really, so it's gonna be one color, the Mauve Haze. You get 1 bronzer in Soft Bronze. Looks a little bit on the cool tone side, and then Sunlight Strobe Light Strobe Powder. So this is not the glowiest highlight from Hourglass. Their metallic strobe powder is going to be the glowiest, but this I think is more fitting with what's trending right now. A super metallic highlight isn't super trending right now, so the strobe powder is perfect for that little bit of glow. The bronzer and strobe powder seem to be on the cooler side from what I am able to tell. I would say overall, other than the 2 finishing powders, which is fine, I'll see in person how different they look from one another. This is quite the well-rounded palette. 2 blushes, a bronzer, a highlight, and 2 finishing powders. Some other artwork that they have, they're using it on this light complexion here. She looks really gorgeous. I'm trying to look at the palettes that launched last year, if there's anything similar. I mean, do they all kind of look the same? Yes. If you purchased them last year, do you need to purchase them this year? No. But to be honest, I don't care. I purchased them anyways. I love the formulas so much. I'm looking maybe the Cheetah because it has like a peach blush and a mauve blush. Bronzer, highlight, but you get an additional blush right here. Maybe. Or also, it does kind of remind me of the Jellyfish, which was my favorite last year. It ended up being 2, these are both finishing powders, right? 2 finishing powders, 2 blushes, a mauve and a peach, 1 highlight and 1 bronzer. So it does actually remind me of Jellyfish as well, but I'm not here to tell you that they're different because you know that they're not, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. I still am buying them. So anyways, that is the lightest one, Dragon palette. Looks really pretty. Let's see how it compares to Evil Eye palette. This one looks like it's going to be for more medium complexions. So in this one, Soft Light is the finishing powder that is going to be the repeat here. So Soft Light is what I actually used today. This is the tone right next to my skin tone. This is the perfect shade for my skin tone where I really like to melt all of my cheek colors together. The finishing powder in the other palette is a little bit more on the lighter side, but this just blends in so seamlessly and blurs over my skin tone. So love that one. Taking a look, this one we have 1 strobe powder in Rose Gold Strobe Light. We have some veining in there, 2 blushes, 1 veining one, so Pink Fusion, and then a coral blush in Vibrant Coral. That's going to be the more singular tone here, no veining running throughout. Oh, 3 blushes. Interesting. This one, only 1 finishing powder and 3 blushes. Now this looks interesting. This looks like a gorgeous neutral blush. I'm excited about this. I don't think I've ever seen a blush that looks like this online. Oasis Glow. How would they describe that? A shimmering warm apricot. Okay, they're saying Pink Fusion is a cool toned pink. And then Vibrant Coral is a true coral. Of course, we know that. And then we have a natural bronzer, which they describe it as a matte medium bronze. Now, the mattes in Hourglass, they're not really matte. So just keep that in mind unless this is some crazy new formula. Oh, I didn't read this. This is about the Dragon palette, the first one. Symbolic of supernatural power, wisdom, and strength. And then this one, Evil Eye. Universal symbol of protection and intuition. Anyways, that's this one. Looks slightly deeper, looks more medium tone, we'll say friendly. The model that they use, a little bit deeper than the first model that they used for the Dragon palette, but she's still very much on the light side, like medium side, so we'll see. I don't know. But anyways, I like this one because it has 3 blushes as opposed to the 2 finishing powders. though I hope the blushes aren't too similar. This rose gold strobe light, I'm thinking that's going to be pretty. I think though I am more attracted to the first palette, the Dragon palette. But let's take a look now at the Lotus Flower palette. This is my favorite packaging, and the model that they used, can you see? She has a deep complexion. So this one is intended for a deeper complexion. So I'm really hoping it pulls deeper in person. It honestly tends to, like the Snake palette last year, it looked a lot deeper in person than it does online. And the pigment is really beautiful. It's like unsuspectingly beautiful on deeper skin tones. Like Hourglass does need to improve on the inclusivity in these palettes, but I'm hoping this year's the year that they did that. So taking a closer look at the palette itself, packaging, gorgeous. So the repeat shade here, repeat existing, is the finishing powder in Eternal Light. This is the only finishing powder in this palette. Something like this I would use for a really soft bronzer if you have a complexion like myself. The pigment on this is pretty light. I think it would look like a very diffused bronze on the face, assuming that the tone would work. Can't speak for that now. And then we have two blushes in this one. This one's a really well-rounded palette as well. Two blushes. A blush in Desert Flush and a blush in Red O, and I just know that this is going to be beautiful in the deeper complexions. None of the shades in here actually have any veining, which some of the best-selling Hourglass palettes in the past have had no veining. So do keep that in mind. How would they describe these colors? So Desert Flush is a deep beige peach. And then of course Red O is a true red as they're describing it. And then we have two strobe powders, so two highlights. These would definitely be too deep on myself. Maybe blush topper they could work since they look really smooth. We'll see how glowy they are. But we have Gilded Strobe Light and we have Radiant Rose Strobe Light. So I'm thinking of myself maybe a blush topper. But I think this may be the most deep skin tone friendly palette I've seen from Hourglass, from what I'm able to tell so far, especially looking at it up close in each of the shades. This does look like the most deep skin tone friendly here, so I feel like they really listened to their customers. So Radiant Rose is a shimmering copper rose, and then Gilded Strobe Light is a warm bronze gold. And then finally we have a bronzer, Bronze Heat, and they're saying that this is a matte deep bronze. So very excited about that. Crossing my fingers, this is looking like very, very good news. We'll see. Now for the Dragon palette, I didn't look at the details here. They said this is their lightest bronzer, right? They call it a matte natural bronze. Anyways, moving from palette to palette, suddenly the Dragon palette looks so light. Oh, that's so good. We have a little bit of depth here. Now, I do think both the Dragon palette and the Evil Eye palette are going to work for me, so I'll probably interchange between those two as my favorite. We'll see in person, but I am so excited about this. Can we take a look at the brushes out of curiosity? Are they the same shapes here? They look to be the same shapes, right? Just different packaging. Yeah, they look like the same shape brush, just with different packaging. These I did not purchase, so I will not be able to review those. I have so many brushes, you guys. There's just no point for me, but those also are available. And again, you do have the option of purchasing the box or the bag and the bag at checkout if you want. That being said, I've placed my order for all three palettes for scientific purposes. So I'm really, really excited to get those in my hand. I will try to get my review out with those as soon as I can. And I'll definitely get a closer look in person to how they compare to last year's. At the end of the day, are they looking the same every year? Like, yeah, they are, but it's just such good quality makeup. As a huge makeup enthusiast, I just love these powders so much. This is my most favorite launch of the year, and this kicks off fall for me. This kicks off the holiday makeup season because holiday makeup launches in September, you guys. So get ready, we have a lot of reviews coming. Let me know your thoughts on these palettes down below. Are you excited for these? Are you picking any of them up? My one critique, I want a really themed Hourglass palette. Like, we get variety in these, but I want like a super cool tone purpley palette and have like all the colors revolve around lavender. because like lavender would be super trendy, you know? Think of like a mauve blush, maybe like a pinky purpley blush, a lavender highlight, a lilac setting powder. I think that would have gone over well this year, Hourglass. Call me up, girl. Doing something like that I feel like would have been really cool. But anyways, other than that, you know, it is same old, but I'm so excited. So share your comments down below. We'll also have the links to purchase these if you guys are interested, and stay tuned. Be subscribed to my channel because my review is coming very, very soon. Bye guys, have a good one.